Mayor, I recommend that we encumber $50,000 in current budget for the city's 2008 and 9 contribution to EDC, be made in 2 payments, one July 2008 and one January 2009.
Is there a second?
We are currently in the community undergoing an economic development overview. It was it's a study being funded by the county through the HUB organization, and it's looking at all the economic development organizations in the community, what their job is, what role they're playing, how they work together, how they engage with one another. I think it's going to be very helpful for us as a board and as a commission to look at how we want to participate in economic development after we get this study and after we learn, what they discover.
One more thought would be that we are looking at a serious deficit for the coming year, a deficit that the economy indicates may get worse. And every dollar we take out of our limited bucket puts another burden on the taxpayer. And I think we've already tonight, what have we invested? Well, I won't add it up, but we've invested significant dollars out of a dwindling bucket of resources. So I would speak against the motion.
I think this is an item that should be decided as part of our budget process. I'm looking over the minutes of the Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting. There was also discussion and vote on the proposal from Mountain BizWorks to support their capital campaign for their new headquarters, which I think is a very, very strong project. I mean, they're doing outstanding work, training people to start new businesses, and we've all seen the great results of that in the community. But we don't have that proposal in front of us tonight to weigh, is that project a better investment? Is this project a better investment? Ultimately, there's going to be more economic development requests on our plate than we're going to be able to fund.
So I think that we are amiss in paying our fair share at that table, and frankly, it's moving it up. Brownie, I think you have a good point. It should be probably part of the budget process, and if that, it looks like we're paying it in that manner, it may well be to consider at that time. But we're really not dealing particularly with next year's budget. We're dealing with what we committed to this past year.
I'm going to remove my second of this vote because I do believe that we should do this as part of the budget.
Now, if we're going to take this up in the budget process, then I think that's legitimate, and I'm fine with that. But I would like, as a council, for us, when we have these discussions, not to keep having them over and over. And so we're going to talk about it in the budget, and whatever recommendations will come forward. But I would just hope that when we have that discussion, we'll have it looking at the fact that we've talked about it before. We can talk about it again with the hub in mind, with the county in mind, with the different funding applications that I think going to go through the Finance Committee first and their recommendations. We can talk about that all during the budget process. But I just hope that in the future we'll keep in mind the various times we talk about issues.
If part of how the city of Asheville, the hub of Western North Carolina, gets to the table is to have to write a check, I have a problem with that. I'm really sorry, and I really personally want to build relationships with the chamber, but I don't have comfort around that, and